everybody, Mala here. Welcome to another audio review. Glad to have you guys back. And no, you didn't read it wrong, it's not clickbait. Well, sort of, kind of is. But yes, the things we're looking at today are indeed $1,000 earbuds, well, in-ear monitors. These little IEMs are the Drop and Empire Ears ZEUS. And let me tell you guys something, I have never heard anything like the ZEUS, ever. We're gonna get to why in just a second. But maybe I shouldn't have expected anything different or doubted the actual ability of a company that's so heavily focused on professional musicians and audio engineers. And audiophiles as well, but to a much lesser extent. So no, the ZEUS are not budget friendly by any stretch of the imagination if you think of the broad market. But when you bring that down to that more professional demographic, they're not that ludicrous actually, because they're drop products, right? So the ZEUS are actually a version of something else, and that something else is the original ZEUS 14. And those things cost around $2,200, which means that these puppies are already about half off. I mean, for $1,000, think about that. Now, they are still IEMs, in-ear monitors. They're not Bluetooth earbuds. They're not truly wireless earbud stuff. It's not that territory. So it doesn't come with any bells and whistles, no special features. It just blocks away sound by passively drowning out stuff through the seal that it creates on your ears, and that's about it. The focus here is on the actual audio quality, and we'll get there. Now they look good. I like the actual Empire Ears logo that's chrome right on the outside of the shells. And the actual housing seems a little bit big, but there's an actual physical reason for it. We're also gonna get to that in a second. And the housing is blue, sort of translucent. You can look a little bit inside of it. It's cool, looks nice, but it's plastic. So I don't think it would survive any drops if you actually did end up dropping them. And just in case you guys didn't know that you need to take good care of your $1,000 pair of IEMs, Empire Ears actually gets that into the manual that as soon as you stop using them, you need to clean them up with the brush that comes with the earbuds and then put them back here into their hard carrying case. And this case, which is also like nice that they included. I would have loved for this case to be a little bit smaller, but you guys saw the size of the buds and plus the cable and all that. It doesn't occupy too little a space. So maybe they couldn't make the case any smaller. I don't know, just pointing it out to you guys. Cable's nice, not that big, terminates in 3.5mm on one end and just 2-pin on the other. Easy and cheap to come by if you don't go through Empire Ears themselves. Like, there are other places to look for that sort of stuff. And it comes with 5 sets of different size ear tips. So you are definitely not going to have any problems finding your own. I use the second to smallest one, if I'm not mistaken. Where you might have an issue regarding comfort is with the ear hooks and the actual size of the buds. Depending on how you need to position the buds on your ears for the hooks to be comfortable around your ear, they actually may end up pressing against the inner lobes, and that causes pain. So just something to be mindful of. And as pretty much every IEM I have ever tried, at least, they are really, really efficient. I mean, you will never have a problem with volume. Ever. One thing that I found kind of curious is that it was pulling out like 40-50% more volume than my AKG 3.5mm wired buds that came with my S10 Plus. I did not expect that to happen, but there you go. Maybe it's a fault of the actual AKG buds, I'm not really sure. As far as I can tell, they are working properly ever since I got them out of the box, and I don't use them very often, so yeah. And as I've used them for longer, each passing day for the last month, I caught myself appreciating more and finding joy in realizing what technology can do. For example, there are 14 drivers in these things. That's actually why the name of the original one is ZEUS 14. But I'm not saying that there are 7 drivers on each bud totaling 14. No, there are 14 drivers per earbud. I have absolutely unequivocally no way to test or attest to why they need 14 buds in these earbuds and to what extent they are, necessary for them to do what they do. And honestly, you shouldn't even bother with that as well. Just consider these 14 drivers, which are 6 treble, 6 mid-range, and 2 bass, as if they were one. It's a new technology that's one driver sectioned in 14 parts. Doesn't really matter. The point is, these things, what they are is magical, because they pull off some pretty neat magic tricks, and how they sound is absolutely incredible. Forget the price problem for a little while. Let's keep on talking about sound. Think of every aspect you feel like a headphone should address in order for it to be good. Either something that you think it's awesome, or that you heard people saying that, should be there because that's awesome to have. Now write all of that down in a piece of paper, fold that piece of paper up, and on the outside write down Zeus. There you go. The technical performance of these things alone is off the charts. The detail retrieval, the speed, the texturing of the sound, that little taste it leaves on the notes that's presenting to you. Everything from the low end to the super high end is presented flawlessly. On the low end, it's going to hit hard and low and fast, and it's going to fill up and give a little body to what you're listening to. It's not super bassy, and it doesn't do bass as well as the ebonies, for example, but it's not going to leave you guys hanging, and you're probably not going to feel like you're missing out on the low end. As long as you remember, and this is actually true for everything about sound with the Zeus, that its purpose in life, the Zeus exists to bring out detail to an extent that I never thought possible for an IEM, and actually even against a couple of headphones that are much more expensive than them, they are still so impressive. The high end, again, detail for days, and it's not overly harsh. It's rather smooth, but not too much. The highs are a little bit forward, a bit closer to you, sort of a 600 or 650 experience. But it doesn't sound as analytical. So if that's your first take, 600, 650s, those are too analytical. If this thing sounds like that, I'm not going to enjoy it. The whole package of the Zeus is much more on the good side of things than on the bad. It's definitely not overly analytical. And the mid-range is nuts. That's my best explanation for it. It is absolutely nuts. Crazy, insane. Again, detail for days to spare. You can give off detail to 28 other headphones, 14 for each bud, and you would still have more detail on these than on all of the others combined. That's sort of its thing. And maybe that's why, even though these are closed, it doesn't have the widest of sound stages, it's going to trick you. The first trick it's going to pull on you is your perception of value. The second trick it's going to pull on you is probably the Soundstage thing. You're going to find yourself at a loss. It's going to sort of mislead you, and you're probably going to forget to even think about or analyze Soundstage. And then you will suddenly realize that you have been enjoying listening to these things without ever missing the actual Soundstage. And it doesn't have the biggest of all. It's well defined and spacious, and it's well presented, and all that happens because the imaging and the detail in everything that it presents, the texturing and the layering of this beautiful, delicious sound cake it's filling your eardrums with is impeccable. So you basically come out of the experience not lacking on anything. And the third and last magic trick it's probably going to pull on you has to do with a characteristic of the Zeus that sometimes may probably be challenging and not exactly comfortable, which is the fact that these are revealing to the point of absurdity. Fact, I have now ordered a couple of mobile Deccan amps to get on with it, because after using them, what used to be okay, which is, just 3.5mm out on my phone, no longer okay. At least not with the Zeus. Can't do that combo anymore, not without something in the middle. Second, I did order a couple of new DACs for my setup, because now I know how these things scale and what they can do if you feed them more, better quality stuff. And when you get to that point where you just need to get something new, you need to upgrade, that's when you know it's gotten serious, because it went from I want an upgrade to make the whole stuff better to I need one. Why do I need one? But you already have 3. I don't care. I still need one. And then the pièce de résistance I have no idea how to speak French, so if I butchered this, please someone correct me and forgive me as well. These things actually showed me that I had a problem with one of the cables connecting my current DAC to one of my amps. And I've tried all my headphones, including them, with all the possible permutations of every single piece of gear I have and the order of which gear was connected to what. And the Zeus was the only one that was able to show me there was hissing coming from one amp to one DAC, or the other way around, from a DAC to an amp, connected with one specific set of cables. This is beyond absurd. None of the other headphones did anything. I couldn't even tell there was something wrong, but the Zeus specifically were able to show me. That's sort of crazy. That's why I say these things were forged with witchcraft, because I've never seen anything like this happen, ever. Objectively speaking, these little things are basically better than every other headphone I own. And at least from memory, I've heard like maybe 2 or 3 headphones that are better than it, and they are still 4 times the price. They are off the charts. These things are, yeah, they're worth the $1,000 they're asking for it. It's just, they are. And something to address, no, I don't think they are amp dependent at all to sound good. They sound good just by themselves. What they are gonna actually bring out is detail that maybe you didn't even know was there. That's just what they are. A characteristic of a $1,000 pair of IEMs focused on professional stuff. That's it. So yes, absolutely, if you are the target demographic for something like the Zeus and you got $1,000 to spare, you were thinking about something on that price range, because I know professional gear is usually like more expensive, you should consider them. And actually, that's one of the main takeaways for me. It's not that I learned to appreciate IEMs because of the Zeus, it's just that now I know how much IEMs can be equal to or better than big headphones, which are my preference, have been my preference ever since I started this hobby. Just as there are many reasons to recommend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 pairs of headphones, depending on the person who's receiving the recommendation, obviously, I still see that there are plenty of reasons to put the Zeus in the mix, because they're actually good enough to be an alternative, to substitute a couple of those $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 headphones, and that alone is a feat. Like, I never thought I would say that about an IEM. Really. The Zeus are incredible. And to tie it up, I would like to actually thank Drop for sending the Zeus specifically in for review so that I could share with you guys, because if it was up to me, I would probably have gravitated towards a $1,000 pair of headphones instead of a $1,000 pair of IEMs, and this experience has been mind-bending. So thanks again. I'll leave links to all the goodies Drop's currently got on their website with special discounts, including an exclusive link for viewers of the channel for $250 off if you want to grab one of these for yourself. These are, again, not for everybody, but if you are the target demographic, these things are absolutely worth it. And $250 off, I mean, it's never a bad deal to get some extra discounts, right? Oh, and just to clarify, Drop is a partner of the channel, and they do sporadically send stuff into the studio for me to review and share with you guys. But if you ever decide to buy anything from Drop through one of the links on this video or any one of the other videos that I've made over the years, I get nothing out of it. It's basically for your benefit. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave any comments or suggestions down below as usual if you're feeling like it. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.